Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we dive into some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting and give you my opinion on them, including big changes coming to local ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC stations, as the largest owner of them, Nexstar, is about to get a lot bigger. We'll tell you what's happening. Also, Spectrum. Some good news, some bad news, but the short story is they have lost subscribers for TV and internet once again. This comes as Comcast and Spectrum are losing thousands of TV and thousands of internet customers every single day. We'll break that all down. And Netflix moving forward with a bid to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. We'll give you an update on these stories and a lot more to come up in a quick second. First though, you can always find a link to every story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. If you like what we do, so you can read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. If you like what we do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. All right, Nexstar is in the process, in our first story, of a $6.2 billion deal to buy Tinga stations. Now, this would see them take over a ton of ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC stations, along with some smaller stations and independents, for example, with that. Now, Nexstar is the largest owner of local TV stations, and this will expand it. Now, this is going to be a big test for the FCC. Now, the FCC has hinted at changing the rules over ownership of local TV stations. For the longest time, the rule has been roughly you can only own one of the big four per market. So, for example, if you owned a CBS in a market, you couldn't buy an ABC, Fox, or NBC in that same market. But the FCC has hinted that they're willing to change that. And this deal would see Nexstar own quite a few multiple stations in the same market. How will that play out? What will happen? We'll have to wait and see. And where I live, they'll give them both the NBC and the ABCs. There's two different ABCs they would own in my market. How will that play out? What does that look like? We'll break it all down. Now, there is a few exceptions to these rules. There's a lot of technicalities around it, and that do allow a few loopholes that have already existed for a while. Like I just said, Nexstar owns both an NBC and an ABC technically in my market. But there's a few loopholes they do to do that. We'll see how this all plays out. But Tinga's board has called a vote on November 18th, so in about a week, a little over, 2 weeks almost, at 9 a.m. They're going to call a vote of their shareholders. Now, once the vote happens, they still need to get FCC and some other regulatory approval, so we'll see what happens. But big changes, there's going to be a big consolidation. If this goes through, Sinclair has already said they're busy looking at potential acquisitions themselves to sell off some assets and buy others. We'll wait and see how it comes down, but I suspect we're going to see a massive consolidation in local TV ownership here very soon. All right, Friday, Spectrum reported its numbers right after Comcast reported losing hundreds of thousands of TV and internet customers. Now, Spectrum has reported losing 109,000 internet customers and 70,000 TV customers with this. Now, a few things. Spectrum is doing better on TV than Comcast is. One of the big reasons, though, is they're buying up a lot of smaller cable companies and expanding into new areas faster than Comcast is. So when you say they only lost 70,000, kind of have to take that with a grain of salt, because they did buy up some other companies and expand their reach by laying new cables to reach new areas, helping them offset the losses. The very concerning thing is the 109,000 loss there. This comes as Comcast and Spectrum are losing an average combined of 3,500 TV customers and 2,300 internet customers every single day. That is not good. We've heard this for a while. I've actually heard cable executives say it in the past too. Oh, I don't care about those TV customers. We'll just focus on the internet. Well, now with Cord Cutting 2.0, the internet customers are bailing also with this as they go to things like 5G home internet, fiber options, even other options like Starlink. This is a huge problem for Comcast and Spectrum. We'll have to keep a close eye on this, but losing 3,500 TV customers every day and over 2,000 internet customers every day is something to keep an eye on. They got to find a way to turn that around, or they're just not going to be here in the long run as they are today. We'll wait and see how that plays out. All right, next up, Netflix is reportedly moving forward with a bid to buy Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, according to a report from Reuters, Netflix has received confidential information about Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, I've been through buying and selling companies before. What happens here is a potential buyer comes, says, hey, I'm interested in buying you, but I want to look at your books. The seller says, okay, but you sign these documents. We put some rules around it that, you won't disclose it. You won't share this information. Sometimes in deals this big, they hire an outside banker, and that's what Netflix has reportedly done to review the numbers. This allows Netflix to kind of step back a little bit, have the banker run all the numbers and give them a report without allegations that they're using the data for gain from what Warner Bros. Discovery told them. But Netflix has reportedly hired the same banking firm that did the merger with Paramount and Skydance recently to run the numbers and help them come up with a rough figure and help them negotiate this. Now, a big pump the brakes moment here. Just because Netflix has agreed to a non-disclosure deal, hired a bank, and is starting to run numbers about a potential purchase that could see it merge HBO Max into Netflix or buy the studios or part or all of Warner Bros. Discovery, doesn't mean the deal will actually be offered or that the deal will be accepted. There are many times where companies get to this point, they look at the numbers and they say, you know what, you're not as successful as we thought we were, or you're too successful, we can't afford a deal. There's several things that could happen there. But it does show that Netflix is very serious, that they are moving forward at this phase. Now the question is, will it go from this to the next one? It could take a month, maybe even longer, for the banking firm to run all the numbers, negotiations go back and forth, and Netflix to prepare an official offer. We'll see. It's unknown exactly when they got this. It could be just a couple more weeks, could be next week, depending on how quickly they go. But Netflix is giving it a serious look, according to a report from Reuters. Be interesting. Warner Bros. Discovery is definitely for sale. A lot of interesting people looking to buy. Will somebody come with an offer that Warner Bros. Discovery is willing to accept? That's kind of the question right now. All right, next up, Sling TV has agreed to pay $530,000 in a California privacy lawsuit. Now, California has been going after quite a few streamers, arguing that they violated the state's policy in compliance to consumers' ability to prevent the sale of their personal information and failing to adequately protect children's data, according to a report from The Hollywood Reporter. Now, with this, they're going to pay $530,000. They're the first streaming service to settle this deal. It'll be interesting to see what other ones do. California has been kind of throwing a wide net there, trying to catch a lot of streaming services to enforce these rules and to get big payouts for it. Unknown how California intends to use this money. Previously, the money has been put towards government expenditures and different services and plans and programs in the past. We'll watch it closely. Hey, we got some deals of the day. If you've been thinking about switching from Fire TV to Google TV because you're unhappy with the new Fire TV OS and Amazon blocking sideloading of apps, well, the Google TV Streamer 4K, the official streamer from Google, is at its lowest price ever now of $74.99. That's a new lowest price ever for a very powerful streamer on the market. Of course, you got others that are cheaper and just great options too, from like Walmart's on also with that. And if you're a YouTube TV customer, you may be eligible for $10 off for 6 months. Now, there's a big catch here. It's unknown how some of these people are selected. I, for example, did not get the offer, but we heard from several readers that if you go into your managed plans in your billing section, you may see an offer to get $10 off a month for 6 months. It does seem like for people who claimed that deal in the past, when it was available late last year and early this year, are not eligible. That's probably why I am not eligible this time around. But if you want to find out how to check it to see if you are eligible for a $10 off for 6 months, or about $60 off your bill in total through that, check out the show notes and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to it there. All right, we got some big TV history stories. Over the weekend, the classic Titanic film turned 28 years old. First premiered at the Tokyo International Film Festival 28 years ago. this past weekend. What became a classic movie in U.S. cinema from the 90s first aired. Also, 15 years ago, this one kind of shocked me because it doesn't feel like it's been this long. You let me know if this one shocked you. 15 years ago, The Walking Dead first aired on AMC. Now, this one kind of shocked me a little bit. Now, it's become quite a franchise with multiple spin-offs and free streaming channels and all kinds of stuff. But The Walking Dead, many claim one of the things that helped save the AMC network, is now 15 years old. Speaking of things that are old and maybe not doing too well, MTV is getting rid of one of its classic, or one of its few, I don't want to say classic, one of its few remaining original programs that are still being produced live or new. Ridiculousness. It's been canceled after 14 years with this, as MTV continues to shake up its programming with a lot of questions over the future of it. Now, there's been reports that MTV could be shutting down its cable networks and switching to an online-only brand through things like YouTube and, Pluto TV and other places. Paramount's reportedly investigating it. They shut down the last remaining pure music channels in Europe that were the last ones that aired nothing but music on it with the MTV branding. Those are being shut down also. And there's serious negotiations, or talks I should say, within Paramount about shutting down all MTV cable networks, even the ones in the US, not getting rid of the brand, but shifting it to be an online brand on places like YouTube and Paramount's owned Pluto TV. We'll keep an eye on this, but one of the last remaining original MTV's shows that's still being produced new and live as an MTV original production is now going away. All right, and our last story up of the day, as my voice tries to hang on through this cold. Disney Plus has added HDR10 support, but there's some catches here. Now, this was first reported by Flat Panel HD. Disney Plus is increasing the quality of its streams with HDR10 Plus with this. Uses dynamic ability to adjust brightness and different things with it. HDR10 now streaming on Disney Plus on select devices and select programs. If you want to find all the catches and details, check out the show notes down below. Well, that's it for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, or don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you really enjoy what we do here. If you want these stories in your email box every morning, we send a newsletter every morning for free with all these stories and more, because we only cover a fraction of what we cover over at corecarsnews.com. So make sure to watch that regularly. But in the show notes, you'll find a link to our free daily newsletter. You can get these in your email box every morning so that, hey, if you're listening to me on the go and you later say, hey, I wanted to go learn more about that MTV story or something else, you can check out your email box to find that story. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.